What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to the channel, The Matrix of Gradelock. Today we have the profile of Orange Tanks. Yes, this build has taken me a while to do a deck profile for, so I do apologize in advance. But so far I've been playtesting this build a lot, and it's really fun. Just for the fact that it's tanks, but it's orange tanks, not blue tanks. And it's Megatron. Megatron honestly is one of my favorite characters. So in this build is definitely orange heavy. I've been playtesting for a month and a half now, or 2 months if you want to say. And so far it's working out really well. It's good against a lot of matchups. Unfortunately, it's pretty bad against Galactus Prime. And it does have a decent matchup against Shockwave, depending if I can one-shot kill Flame War or the other small characters. Overall, this deck works out really well. Like I said, it's not that consistent. It does have its epic turns, but I'm gonna break down my build for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys do enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. So let's get on with the deck profile to see what makes this deck, Orange Tanks, so fun. Now, of course, we're going to go over the characters first. The first one that we're going to talk about is Demolisher. Demolisher honestly puts in a lot of work. So in his ult mode, when you flip into his ult mode, depending on how many other tanks you have, let's say if you have 2 tanks, you draw 2 cards for free. So if you have, when you flip Demolisher back to his tank mode, and you have both of them in the tank modes, you draw 2 cards for free. In this build, we do play a few cards that do flip. On this side, he has 3 attacks, 7 health, and 3 defense. But on this side, which is the main side that you want to be on when attacking, he has 0 attack, he has 7 health, and 4 defense. Now the 4 defense does come in super clutch, just for the fact that in this build, we do play a few blues. So his effect is whenever he attacks your opponents, depending on what his defense is, he gets to flip that much more cards. So he has 2 flips on his regular attack, and then he gets 4 more flips for his defense. So we do play a few cards that do give you defense. So depending on what armor that we actually get, if we get the armor that gives plus three defense to the tank, he would get 7 more flips, which is insane because potentially he can one-shot kill any character. Usually when I attack with him first, if I'm going first, I attack with him first. Potentially he can one-shot kill a character, but if I'm going second, I'm attacking with him first. Usually I'll play a grenade launcher, a power punch, or a supercharge, and he would definitely one-shot kill a character. Now the newest addition to tanks, of course, is Impactor. This card puts in a lot of work. This card helps us play Matrix of Leadership overall because Matrix of Leadership is a free orange and blue pip card, which is a phenomenal card in almost any deck. To be honest, any deck that can play an orange and blue pip card is just so beneficial. Anyways, what this card does is basically when you flip into his alt mode, he gives all characters bold 1. Usually I do that whenever my Megatron is attacking or my Demolisher is attacking. But on this side, he's pretty much weaker. He only has a 3 attack, 12 health, 2 defense. But on this side, he has 4 attack, 12 health, and 1 defense. But on this side, he does have bold 1, so potentially he can be putting 7 or 6 damage to your opponent. He does put in the work, like I said. He does have 12 health. If you put Matrix on him, he has 5 attack instead, and he's giving attack power to the other tanks. And overall, like I said, Impactor does come in super clutch. Usually, he's the second character to usually get KO'd. But overall, Impactor definitely a big improvement for tanks. Last but not least, Lord Megatron. This card is phenomenal. So on his ult mode, he has 6 attack, 17 health, which is beautiful by the way, and 3 defense. So when you flip in his ult mode, your opponent mills the top cards depending on how much his defense is. So if I flip into his tank mode, your opponent has to mill 3 cards since he has 3 defense. If he has the armor that gives him 3 more defense, so then your opponent's going to have to mill the top 6 cards. So this does help your opponent deck out more quicker, but the main point of your opponent decking out is because of his effect. So his effect is, whenever your opponent decks out, your opponent chooses one of his characters and deals the amount of damage of his attack power. So let's say, for instance, your opponent, let's say I'm attacking, alright, let's say you draw for turn and you deck out. Now you automatically have to put 4 damage to one of your characters, depending if he doesn't have any upgrades. But let's say, for instance, I'm attacking you. And of course, since I'm attacking, I flip my cards first, and then you flip your cards. So as soon as you flip your cards and you deck out, his attack power is combined with the flips that I get. So let's say, for instance, I flip two double orange pips each. So his attack power right now is 8 attack, and your opponent decks out as soon as he flips his top 2 cards. So right there, your opponent has to put 8 damage to one of his characters, which can potentially one-shot kill, of course, any character, by the way. Overall, Lord Megatron is a phenomenal card. This card is putting in a lot of work. I've been playtesting it in the blue build. So far at the moment, I don't think Lord Megatron is really good in any blue deck. It's working out perfect in orange in that orange deck. Now onto the build. We're first going to start with upgrades. Upgrades, of course, we're playing 3 copies of Improvised Shield. Of course, why wouldn't you play this card in an orange aggressive deck? It's the only other free double orange pip card to play. Next, we have 3 copies of Grenade Launcher. Again, another card of why wouldn't you play in an orange deck. This card, in my opinion, should not exist. I think this card is still too overpowered, but it's just my opinion. Next, we have 3 copies of Power Punch. This card is basically a downgraded version of Grenade Launcher. It gives me bolt 3, so potentially one-shot killing my opponent. Overall, Power Punch, there's no reason why not to play it in an aggressive orange build. Now, the MVP armor card, of course, is Composite Armor. This card is an orange and black pip card. What this card does is you can only put it on tanks. When you put it on a tank, it gets 3 defense and +1 attack. Unfortunately, when you defend, after the battle resolves, you have to scrap this card. But when you're defending, if you flip a black pip card, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this card is very beneficial to your tanks. It gives 3 defense and +1 attack, and also potentially dealing 1 damage to your opponent if you flip a black pip card while defending. So this card is a phenomenal card for tanks. Obviously, you have to play 3 copies of it. Now we're playing 3 copies of the Matrix Leadership. Of course, this card, beforehand, tanks couldn't play because we didn't have a tank leader, but thanks to Impactor, now we do have a tank leader, so this card is definitely playable. Of course, we can only put it on Impactor, but overall, it's a phenomenal card because it's an orange and a blue pip card. Doesn't cost a star, it is free, so there's no reason why not to play 3 copies of it. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Bastion Shield. Of course, this card, it's an armor card that potentially destroys your opponent armor. Let's say, for instance, my opponent has Force Field. Of course, play Bastion Shield and get rid of it. Bastion Shield overall is a phenomenal card in any orange build. There are many ways for us to get it. We can search out for it because it's a green pip card, and also Hunger Down can also bring it back from the scrap pile to one of my characters. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Basic Command Protocol. What this card does is it's a utility. All it does is it gives your character +1 bolt. So in this build, I didn't really see that many utilities I wanted to play. Of course, you could play Security Console, or you could play Pocket Processor. But in all honesty, I want to be aggressive as much as possible. So that bold 1 does come in clutch. Usually, I would put it on Megatron, and sometimes maybe even Demolisher if Demolisher lives that long. But overall, this card I played 2 copies of. Potentially, I might bring it down to 1. Not too sure yet, but you know, it's just my preference. And the last equipment, we played 3 copies of Sturdy Javelin. This card puts in so much work. Of course, when you put it on a ranged character, when your character attacks, you can scrap it to deal 2 damage to any of your opponent's characters. Now, that's the main effect that you always want to go for. All your characters are ranged besides Demolisher. He's actually melee on his ult mode. So all your characters are ranged besides Demolisher on alt mode, but whenever you attack, of course, you can potentially kill 2 characters at the price of 1 attack. So Sturdy Javelin, definitely recommend to play in orange tanks. Next, we play 3 copies of Piece of Tyranny. Again, another free double orange pip card. There's also no reason why not to play it. Do I use this card? Not so often, to be honest, because again, usually Demolisher gets either 1-shot killed, or potentially 2 attacks or 3 attacks may take him out. Impactor though, Impactor usually is my number 1 target to use Piece of Tyranny, just in case if I know I can 1-shot kill my opponent the next turn. So Piece of Tyranny, of course, is a phenomenal card in any orange build, especially with tanks. Now, I played 3 copies of Rollout. Of course, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this, but Rollouts, I definitely love to use it because it's an orange and a blue pip card, so it's offensive and defensive. But usually, I'll play this card in combo with Demolisher, just to flip Demolisher back so I can get the +2, or potentially even flip Impactor to give all my characters bold 1. Well, mainly give Megatron bold 1, because usually whenever I flip Impactor to give one of my characters bold 1, it's when my Megatron is actually attacking. So rollouts is definitely a phenomenal card. I use it almost all the time, and like I said, it's a great card, offensive and defensive wise. Next, we play 2 copies of Fight for Position. This card is an orange and a black pip card, so this card does help out with the composite armor. But what this card does is it gives bold 2 to one of your characters. That's basically it. It's a downgraded version of Supercharge. So like I said, guys, I do want to be aggressive as much as possible. And in this build, we don't really play that many non-orange pip cards besides 3 Hunger Downs. Next, we play 2 copies of Ramming Speed. This card I would play 3 copies of, but to be honest, there's not too many upgrades that I do want to scrap, unless I'm going against Galactus Prime. But if I am going up against Galactus Prime, of course I'm going to side in Disarm instead of maining Ramming Speed. And the MVP action card, of course, is 3 copies of Hunger Down. This card puts in so much work. It can do so many combos. It can do so many combos with Demolisher, Impactor, and Megatron. Well, mainly Demolisher to get that +2, but of course it gets you a +3, +4, depending on how many armors are on your scrap pile. Let's say all 3 copies of my composite armor are on scrap pile, and I don't have any armors on my character, so I can play this card to get a +3, which is phenomenal. So Hunger Downs is a must to play in any tank deck, especially orange tanks, because like I said, it puts in so much work. In my last 2 cards, I played 2 copies of Escape Route. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to question why. In my opinion, in this build, we do flip a lot, and I don't really want to waste my flips on other characters besides Megatron. But if I do, of course, rollouts will help and Escape Routes will help. Unfortunately, Escape Route only flips my character back to ult mode, which is fine because usually the best effects come from the ult mode, Demolisher, Impactor, and Megatron. This card is definitely fetchable. I can ditch my bad cards usually to get the Escape Route, so it does come in handy depending if I know I'm going to have a dead turn. If I can't one-shot kill my opponent's character that turn, I might as well just play Escape Route. Alright guys, so now I'm going to break down the build even more. I'm going to explain how many pips do I play in total. In total, the deck, we do play 40 cards. First, we're going to start with the white pips. We play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why I play 5 white pips is because I feel very comfortable playing 5 or 6. In this build, you could bump up to one more Escape Route if you want. But me personally, I feel very comfortable playing 5 or 6 white pips, because when you're flipping cards, let's say if you're flipping like 8 cards, potentially you can have 2 white pips in there. You're just wasting one spot. I don't want my white pip cards to be cluttered together. So of course you have to shuffle good. But again, if you get like 8 flips in one turn attacking, you're most likely gonna see two white pips. And if you play more than 6 white pips, most likely you might even see 3 white pips in one flip. So again, me, it's just a preference. I feel very comfortable playing 5 to 6 white pips. Now for pure blue cards, we're playing 1, 2, 3 pure blue cards. It's the only pure blue cards that we play in this build. Again, I don't feel comfortable playing more than 3, well technically more than 4 non-main color pip cards. So for this deck, we're playing, of course, it's an orange build deck. We want to play as much orange as possible, but of course you can always splash in a few non-orange cards. So I'm splashing in 3 blue pip cards. You could splash in maybe a one-shot stand, one-shot fall if you want, or I Still Function. But I just feel very comfortable playing 3 blue pip cards. And also it helps with defense, helping my characters not get one-shot killed. For orange and blue pip cards, we're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're playing 3 copies of Matrix and 3 copies of Rollouts. Again, they're free. They're non-star cards. That's one of the biggest reasons why we play them. The other biggest reason, of course, is it's an orange and a blue pip card, so it's good on offense and defense. Matrix Leadership, of course, helps out a lot, but not as much as Rollouts, in my opinion. I think Rollouts I activate at least twice in the game. So we have, in total, 9 blue pip cards in this build. So again, the blue pip cards do help my characters not get one-shot killed, especially Demolisher, because of course you want to try to have a second attack with Demolisher. Now for orange pip cards, we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So in this build, we have exactly 32 orange pips in the main deck. Of course, this is a very orange build deck. You could play less orange if you want to, but it's just my opinion, my preference. I think you need to play orange as much as possible in this build to potentially one-shot kill your opponent's character with Demolisher or Megatron. But truthfully, to be honest, Impactor doesn't really take out any characters. He's a pretty weak character by himself, but if you equip him with Grenade Launcher or Power Punch or Supercharge, then he could potentially be a one-shot kill character. Alright guys, so that's my deck profile for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did indeed enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, I do recommend to subscribe to the channel for more videos. We will be having more match videos, more deck profile videos, and more Mark Watch videos. I do apologize, last week we didn't do a Mark Watch. I was extremely busy on Wednesday. I had so much to do. Hopefully this Wednesday we will have a Mark Watch, and if not, there should be a bell button down there somewhere. If you click it, it'll give you notifications when our videos are up and running. So yeah, that's my orange tank build. Again, it's a very fun deck. I don't think it's top tier meta. I think it's okay. It's very fun, by the way. It's fun just the fact that it's orange tanks. It's not blue, because usually tanks were good as a blue deck. Now you can play them as an aggressive orange build. And yeah, so yeah guys, I will see you guys next time. Deuces.